Coming up on your primetime news, an investigation into pets being killed up north has resulted in one person being placed under arrest. Plus, disturbing videos at 2 of the island's public schools have now gone viral, and the Guam Election Commission could decide tonight if police will be allowed to hand out a policing survey at the island's election polling sites. Half a day, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in and streaming us, because in tonight's top story, a suspect in what appears to be a series of canine killings in the island's northernmost municipality has now been placed under arrest. Crystal Paco has tonight's top story.
Pugwa the dog was found shot to death on private property late last month. His alleged killer arrested on Thursday afternoon. KUAM cameras were on scene as Gerald Cruz was processed at the Hagåtña precinct. Police have yet to release details on the investigation. Animal rights advocates, however, are applauding authorities. Guam Animals in Need Board President Cyrus Lurer.
We're very interested in these latest developments in the case, and we're impressed by the speed and thoroughness that GPD has shown in prioritizing this case. This is something that the public is outraged by. We've gotten many calls from the community, both with tips and also people just wanting updates. It's reassuring to know that the authorities are taking this case seriously.
Pugwa's case appears to be connected to other canine killings in the same neighborhood. Around the same time, a man made threats to him and other dogs. A day after his discovery, another dog was found dead just houses down. An autopsy revealed both pups had died from gunshot wounds. Gain reports the case isn't isolated. Along the same stretch of street, a Rottweiler was shot to death, while a golden retriever survived shots from a pellet gun.
These are all pets that belong to families, and to have them shot and killed on their own property is really gruesome and scary.
Gain on Wednesday upped a cash reward to $3,000 for information leading to an arrest or grand jury indictment in this case.
We have not been told yet who might be the person or persons who provided the tip. We look forward to being able to provide the reward to whomever was able to provide the tips to the authorities.
Pugwa's family, Nate and Alexi Mapson, react to Cruz's arrest.
We're just so relieved that we think we have the guy that did this. I've never seen him before. I don't know who this guy is. Neither is my wife, and we don't know why anybody would do this. So let's hope we are closer to getting some answers.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
And Crystal also adds that the Mapsons extend their heartfelt thanks to the members of Guam Animals in Need, along with Territorial Veterinarian Dr. Thomas Poole, the Rotary Club, the Guam Police Department, Isla Vet Clinic, and Harper Veterinary Clinic, as well as all of those in the community who supported them.
The man facing criminal charges for failing to get his pit bull medical attention will face a jury next year. Melker Antolin is charged with first-degree animal cruelty as a third-degree felony and animal abandonment as a petty misdemeanor. These disturbing photos show Thor, the pit bull, with a 15-pound tumor on his leg. Antolin allegedly knew his dog needed to see a veterinarian since January. Trial is scheduled for April 2019.
In other news, jurors are currently deliberating the fate of Korean soccer player Byung-Oh Kim. He was on Guam back in January with the Sangju Sangmu soccer team at the time of the alleged rape. Over the 4-day trial, jurors have heard from first responders, the victim, as well as a nurse from Healing Hearts Guam. Now, although defense argued the case should be acquitted because prosecution failed to prove force or coercion, the judge did rule in favor of prosecution on the grounds that the victim testified that she was, quote, frozen and could not otherwise resist. There's been no word yet on a verdict.
A Tamuning club owner pleads guilty to harboring illegal aliens. Peter Wang, court documents state, told the feds he paid a Taiwanese recruiter for 4 Taiwanese females to work at Wild Orchid Lounge. The women were on Guam under the visa waiver program and not authorized to work in the United States. The scheme came to an end when Homeland Security investigations executed their search warrant back in August. He faces up to 10 years behind bars.
Up in Dededo today, a drug enforcement agency operation forced a local middle school in the northern village to go on lockdown just after 8:45 today. The DEA could only confirm that it is in part of an ongoing federal investigation, but still there's been no word if any drugs were found at the home or if any arrests have been made. Department of Education spokesperson Isa Baza says the lockdown procedure at Estumbo Middle was done out of abundance of caution and in response to the raid happening near the school. Administrators worked with GPD to ensure it was safe before the all-clear was given just around 9.
The superintendent of education responds to an incident that happened last week where a 14-year-old boy was placed under arrest at the Department of Youth Affairs after stabbing another teen at a bus stop in Jotnya. Allegedly, the student in question was under the influence of alcohol.
Not really a school or a bus stop issue. It's a community issue, and we'll just continue to work with our partners to keep the villages safe. Hopefully we can do more work with the residents to see if there's anything going on in that area that needs to be addressed.
John Fernandez says DOE officials responded by providing counseling services to students who witnessed the incident, adding that schools continue to push anti-bullying measures and the PBIS program to incentivize positive behavior in and out of school grounds.
Shut up! I'm talking. You listen.
Well, that's a video that most of you have probably seen on WhatsApp chat groups and social media, and DOE is aware of the video too. It's supposedly filmed by a student of a teacher yelling profanities in class.
Tell you.
Now, that video was forwarded to the Deputy Super and Education Support and Community Learning, Dr. Kelly Sokola, for her investigation. Officials say at this point they are unable to comment further until the inquiry is properly completed.
On camera at a local school prompts a separate investigation. DOE confirms several fights took place at JFK during lunch on Monday. The incident involved at least 7 students. In the video, you can see a school official help break up the fight. GPD was notified, and school admin says all students involved will be disciplined accordingly. DOE adds that fighting is a serious violation that could lead to consequences including suspension or expulsion.
In other island news headlines tonight, the Supreme Court will decide whether the airport must make public certain transcripts of its board executive sessions. In a hearing Thursday before the High Court, DFS argued its motion that the open government law requires that the details of such meetings must be released after 6 months. DFS seeks information that may be helpful in its long-running legal battle with the airport over the master retail contract, which it lost after 30 years. But the airport did win a lower court order to help keep the minutes under seal, citing attorney-client privilege involving ongoing litigation with DFS. Airport attorney Genevieve Rapata says the court must weigh the public's right to know against potential harm to government agencies.
There has to be a balancing involved because the agency, the airport represents the people. I mean, we serve the people of Guam. We serve people who travel in and out of Guam. And so, the airport and all government agencies have to be able to discuss what their litigation strategy is with their attorneys without the fear that their adversaries are going to be able to get those discussions and use it against them in those cases.
The island's High Court has taken the matter under advisement. It's one of several issues pending before the High Court, including the main case. The airport is appealing a decision by Judge Arthur Barcenas to void the $140 million contract that the airport awarded to DFS rival Lotte Duty Free in 2013.
25 days until Super Tuesday, the Guam Election Commission is meeting this hour to get things ready for the November 6th election.
Our Nick Delgado has been downtown for a little bit, and let's go ahead and bring him on live now. And Nick, this meeting is supposedly to decide if GPD's survey will be allowed at the various polling sites. Is that correct?
That's right. The Guam Police Department going over that survey with the Guam Election Commission tonight. But first, we want to get to a letter that was sent from the VOTA campaign over to commissioners just today. Now, it's from their attorney, Tom Fisher, who brings up concerns about candidate Lou and Josh, specifically Lulian Guerrero, talking about a conflict of interest and her dealings with the Bank of Guam should she sit over at Adelup. Of course, that's something that the Guam Election Commission would still need to discuss themselves, and it's not on the agenda, so no word if that's going to be addressed tonight. But the Leon Guerrero Tenorio camp, of course, responding that, Mr. Fisher, we can answer that for you. There are strict banking industry regulations, federal and local laws, rules and regulations that protect us from and prohibit these conflicts of interest. Lulian Guerrero, they state, has always followed the tough rules and regulations in her career as a nurse, senator, and in her term with the Bank of Guam. They go on to add, Mr. Fisher, the more pertinent question is your client, Ray Tenorio, can continue serving as lieutenant governor if found guilty of the criminal charges filed against him. Of course, we're talking about that gun grabbing incident still going through the judicial process. Now, back to the letter or to the survey that the Guam Police Department is discussing with the Guam Election Commission tonight. That is on the agenda. And it's a survey that pretty much would ask people questions when they go to the polling sites about their gender, their income, as well as how the crime is in their activity or in their village.
The GEC is back to discussing the Guam Police Department Community Policing Survey. The request?
To conduct their survey at the 22 polling sites. So the outside the polling rooms, not inside, and they will only approach voters who have already voted.
The survey goes over more than 100 questions. It states the information will be treated confidentially and is intended to improve policing in the community. Police say it was funded through a more than $50,000 grant secured by KITA. GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan says commissioners received a copy of the survey this week.
You know, we've never had this kind of a request before. You know, if we get all the information for the board so that they can make a good decision, that's what we're trying to do now.
The GEC does have some concerns.
We don't want to disenfranchise voters. We want to make sure that it doesn't impede. You know, if the voter comes and they see that this is going on, we don't want them to turn around. We want them to go in and vote.
Now, the survey was actually supposed to be conducted by the Guam Police Department last month, but the Typhoon Man could, of course, cause delays, and that's why they're bringing it before the Election Commission to try and get it out there to people out there in the community. Of course, the discussion we said is ongoing. One thing that Pangilinan tells me that they are aware of is the potential writing campaign for the Uggan Limtiaco team, but still no word yet if that will be discussed. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Nick, well done. Joining us live downtown via Skype. Now, the GEC also wants you to know that homebound and in-office voting has now begun. District registration begins at your village mayor's office on October 17th, with the last day to register for the general is the 26th.
Stay tuned. We're back with more news after the break.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Cheers to 80 years. It's our 80th anniversary and the gifts are on us. 80 gift certificates, 8 shopping sprees, 8 staycations, and 1 round trip flyaway for 2 to Manila. So how do you enter? Cavos Insurance personal home and auto customers are automatically entered. Non-Cavos customers may enter by receiving a qualified quote. It's our way of saying thank you for trusting us for the past 80 years. For more details, visit cavos.com/giveaway or call 472-6816. Cavos Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years.
Win adventure in the ITNE Explore Your World Million Mile Giveaway. Every week from July 16 to November 2nd, we're giving away 60,000 United Mileage Plus miles to ITNE postpaid and prepaid subscribers. Imagine where you could go. Go on a weekend getaway to the Philippines. Enjoy fresh sushi in Japan. Itadakimasu. Sip a latte at a cafe in Paris. Or use your miles for shopping and other rewards. It's your world. Explore it.
30 years ago, I moved to Guam from the Philippines to make a better life for my family. I work hard every day. We struggled, but I was happy to do it for my kids. This is my house. It isn't fancy, but it's home. I will do anything to protect my family, but I don't feel safe. I don't see police patrolling the villages like I used to. Guam is not the same. Criminals are getting braver because they know we don't have enough police officers. The Lieutenant Governor says public safety is a priority. He's been in the office for 8 years and had the chance to do something to make us safer, but he didn't. I'm tired of empty promises. I want someone who's going to get the job done. That's why I'm voting for Lou and Joss. Sa Nobyembre 6, ako po ay boboto para kay Lou at Joss. At inaanyahan ko po kayong lahat na maniwala na mayroon tayong karapatan na maramdaman na ligtas ang pagboto sa kanila. Ako po si Bobby Gopez. Maraming salamat po.
I'm Lou Youngerero and I approve this ad.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. The United States Supreme Court denied a petition filed by Guam veteran Louis Segovia. He, along with other American citizens living in Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, was seeking an answer as to whether it is constitutional to deny absentee voting rights in these territories while allowing other citizens living in other U.S. territories or even a foreign country to continue to be able to vote for president and voting representation in Congress. The petition for certiorari was filed by former Guam resident attorney Neil Ware. He's also president of Equally American, a nonprofit that advocates for equality and civil rights for the nearly 4 million Americans who live in U.S. territories. The organization says they will be considering their next steps.
The Ninth Circuit Court panel in Honolulu, Hawaii has heard Guam's appeal of a local district court ruling on the proposed self-determination plebiscite. Special Assistant Attorney General Julian Uggan is challenging the decision by the Guam District Court. Chief Judge Francis Tedinko Gatewood had ruled in favor of plaintiff Arnold Dave Davis that the native inhabitant-only vote was discriminatory and unconstitutional. The hearing was held in a courtroom at the University of Hawaii early Thursday morning Guam time. A previously announced live stream of the proceeding was not available. We were also unable to reach legal counsel or lead counsel Uggan for comment, or Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, who her office confirms was in Honolulu.
Well, motorsports enthusiasts turned out in force Wednesday night at a public hearing on a bill to authorize a new 50-year lease for the Guam International Raceway Park. The Guam Racing Federation has plans to improve the facility up in Jigo, which has been the hub for one of the island's most popular pastimes. Nestor Lecanto explains in this story.
The island would be best served by a single location that could have motorcycle racing, off-road racing, drag racing, and the Guam Grand Prix. And so the idea for the Guam International Raceway was born.
The lease and construction of the current park was approved 20 years ago. The Racing Federation is seeking a long-term renewal of the land trust property now that the lease has expired. CLTC Executive Director Michael Borja says they're ready to negotiate.
We just want to make sure that in a commercial lease agreement such as this, especially one that's being asked to go for 50 years, that the terms of those agreements either be codified in statute so that the terms of the agreement have full authority 20, 30, 40 years from now, so we don't encounter any kind of issues with the lease agreement.
Bill sponsor Senator Tom Atta says the deal will be guided by the trust's commercial rules and regulations, and senators' concerns over specific issues such as who gets what from the extraction of coral and topsoil when the property is further developed must still be decided. Longtime racing enthusiast Henry Simpson of the Federation explains they've got big plans.
This 50-year lease will allow us to bring in other associated businesses to the raceway, such as a gas station for regular and racing fuels, warehousing for race cars, driving schools, and other associated ventures that will utilize the track for our tourists, hotel residents, and local residents, and military alike.
The track will host the 40th anniversary next year of the island's biggest and most popular racing event, Smokin' Wheels. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Wednesday evening, a reveal event was held to kick off the American Cancer Society's Real Men Wear Pink campaign. Jonah Gunchafris has more.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and last night at the AK showroom, a reveal event was held presenting the 8 men who are part of the Real Men Wear Pink campaign. In its second year on Guam, the 8 men will unite to fight breast cancer with the American Cancer Society. This year's candidates are Dr. Felix Cabrera, Nate DeKnight, Tom Garcia, Glenn Noket, Dr. Joel Rubio, Joe San Augustine, Francis Santos, and Stephen Pangilinan. ACS volunteer Joe Rios explains how the 8 gentlemen will represent the campaign and the core values of the ACS.
Passion is the first one. You are passionate about your community, creating events, sharing information in new ways, and funding tomorrow's leaders. Innovation is another.
There is also empathy, courage, and determination. By committing to be a candidate, the 8 have also agreed to fundraise at least $2,500 to go towards American Cancer Society's mission of breast cancer awareness. Wear pink every day during the month of October and educate and raise awareness through their personal and social networks. Tina Noket is a Senior Community Development Manager for ACS.
So Dankalinasajusmasi to everyone, to our candidates and their families. Thank you so much for taking that step and leading our community to a world free from breast cancer. Good luck on your campaigns, and we are excited to see what you guys can bring.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonah Gunchafris.
And make sure to catch our 5-part series, Why Real Men Wear Pink, beginning Monday, October 22nd, as Joan introduces you to some of this year's candidates.
Okay, now keeping with pink, on Monday the 22nd, along with kicking off our Real Men Wear Pink series, it's also KUAM's annual Think Pink Day in commemoration of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The day began 5 years prior to commemorate the birthday of our beloved office manager and breast cancer survivor, Christy San Augustine. Our entire team is going to be decked from head to toe in pink. Trust me, we really commit to this. We'll provide awareness tips and we'll give tributes to both survivors as well as those who we have lost. We invite you and the entire community to please join us by wearing pink and posting up your special tributes using the hashtag ThinkPinkGuam across any social media platform. We've created a special sign that you can download and customize. Just go to KUAM.com and you can make your dedications. We would love to have you join us. Thank you.
In other news, last night the Guam Air Force Veterans Association hosted an appreciation and recognition dinner at Carmen's Restaurant for Senior Airman John Robert Taitano, who was named one of 12 Outstanding Airmen of the Year for the entire U.S. Air Force. Taitano, who is stationed at Andersen Air Force Base, is currently assigned to the 36th Communications Squadron.
I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm really thankful also for all the years of service that you guys have put forward to put people like me in a position to be able to serve now. And truthfully, I'm just truly honored to be here.
The board selected the 12 airmen based on superior leadership, job performance, and personal achievements. Congratulations, Senior Airman Taitano.
That is outstanding. They do not mess around when they pick those most excellent airmen and everything. So to have one of our
entire Air Force.
Yeah, so to have one of our local boys stand among them, we are super, super proud of you. Job well done. All right, sports is coming up, but first, here's your island weather.